Thunderstorms make more than one appearance this week when you're most likely to see that wet weather coming up. Rain so far this summer, and today, tomorrow, throughout the rest of this week, each day features its own chance of rain. Now, that's not a guarantee that you're going to see rain every single day. Today so far has been dry for most of us. It's 83 in Cincinnati, and by the looks of radar, regionally at least, looks like a lot of our rain is staying just to our south or to our east, but there still could be an isolated pop-up thunderstorm here anytime from now until sunset, although at this point so far it looks like we're going to stay dry. So good news if you have any plans to head out to the pool tonight after work, or if you're still needing to get some yard work done, you'll have plenty of opportunity to do so. Temperatures too, not too bad. We're staying pretty seasonable, not just today, but throughout the next several days. We're sitting at 83 now. Typically we would be hitting about 86, so much better than last week, right? All right, so as far as those rain chances are concerned, an isolated pop-up is a possibility through tomorrow. But then beyond that, we start to see slightly better rain chances kind of working their way in. A series of weather impact days as we round out the week and head into another weekend. I'll show you when you can expect to see rain moving through your neighborhood, the potential for any thunderstorms and all those impacts that they bring coming up in a few.
Allison.
Hey there, so it is mild outside. I almost said warm, and yes, it's warm. It's July, of course, but compared to last week when we were dealing with 90s and that triple-digit heat index, this feels like a break outside, right? And the rain chances so far today have really been non-existent all day long, so it's overall been a really nice Tuesday out there. 83 in Cincinnati now. Temperatures are sitting around 84 in Hamilton. Blue Ash is at 84, so it's Anderson and cold rain so far here tonight. So if you have plans to head out to the Reds game this evening, not too bad for first pitch. Temperatures actually look like they're going to stay pretty steady for the rest of this evening, down to about 83 by the time we do get to first pitch. A little bit muggy outside. You definitely notice that as you step outside. But again, it's not as heavy as it was last week. Last week was really, really brutal. We haven't seen any rainfall so far today. Still, there's a chance to see a pop-up downpour, mainly for areas south and east of 71. But for the most part, what we're seeing is a lot of that activity is to our south, thanks to a boundary that's kind of developed a little bit further south, providing slightly better moisture to work with to see those thunderstorms going up. But for us here locally, still looking at a pretty quiet and dry evening. Now, next couple of days, still going to feature that chance of rain. Tomorrow, a pop-up downpour, certainly a possibility, but much like today, a lot of us end up staying dry. Once we head into the second half of the week, starting on Thursday, scattered thunderstorms start to return. I think Thursday there's a chance for some scattered activity, but then by Friday, looking pretty likely. Some downpours could bring in some heavy rainfall here Friday. I also think there's a potential for some gusty wind, and of course that lightning threat is there too. And then we'll hold on to that chance on Saturday, and then again on Sunday. So this upcoming weekend looks like it's going to be another one where we're going to have to watch those rain chances very closely, kind of dancing all around us. For the rest of this afternoon, again, an isolated downpour, certainly a possibility, not something that everybody ends up seeing. If we do see that, it would generally be for areas along and southeast of I-71 tonight. For the overnight time frame, I do think some patchy fog develops by tomorrow morning, but temperatures are going to stay pretty mild, dropping down to the upper 60s or low 70s depending on your neighborhood. And then throughout the rest of the day, making it up to about 86. Quick chance of some downpours. That's a possibility tomorrow, essentially from 3 to 8 o'clock. You're not going to see rain every single hour in that time frame. And I actually think a lot of us end up staying totally dry. But just keep in mind, during the peak heat of the day, an isolated downpour is a possibility. It's nothing that I would cancel plans for entirely at this point. If the kids have swim teams going on tomorrow night, I still think odds are a lot of those meets and races are going to be okay. As we get into Thursday and Friday, we start to see some more question marks, especially by the time Friday rolls around. That's when it's looking like we have a better chance to see some thunderstorms. That lasts into Saturday, and actually now adding a chance of rain in there on Sunday too, with some scattered rain and thunderstorms still sticking around throughout the day. On Sunday, kind of off and on throughout the entire day. Tonight, if you're heading out to the Reds game, looks pretty good. Tomorrow night, nice as well. Temperatures are going to stay in the 80s for, yeah, you know what? These temperatures are not bad at all. We're sitting at 83 in Cincinnati, 83 in Florence, about 82 in Delhi. Overall, about 10 degrees cooler than where we were this time last week. And rain chances tonight, yes, they're there, but I honestly think at this point, a lot of us are going to end up staying dry throughout the rest of tonight. A lot of that activity has developed to our south, a little bit closer to Lexington, areas of central Kentucky. Seeing that rain rain threat. For us here locally right now, it looks like the evening is going to stay on the dry side. Tomorrow, we still could see another isolated pop-up, but then as we get into the second half of the week, those rain chances start to go up a little bit more kind of each day. They start on Thursday, then go up even more so on Friday, and then this weekend holding on to that potential for some rainfall as well. All the while, temperatures stay seasonable. So if you're heading out this evening, not too bad. Again, an isolated pop-up can't be ruled out for the evening time frame, but overall, going to be muggy outside with temperatures staying in the low to mid 80s. I'll show you when you can expect to see some of those heavier rainfall totals as we head into a rainier pattern this weekend coming up in a few minutes. Ashley. I'll stick around kind of off and on throughout the week with higher rain chances as we get into the second half. I'll show you how many weather impact days we have going into the upcoming weekend and how long we're sticking with the more comfortable summer air coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5, and we'll be right back. For the feels like temperature, 88 at the Lincoln Airport, closer to about 87 for the feels like in Batavia, as well as Hamilton so far tonight. It's been quiet for us around the Cincinnati area here locally, but just to our south, not too far away in Lexington, over toward western Kentucky as well. Some thunderstorms have started to go up there, but right now we are staying on the dry side of a boundary that's set up, and I generally think at this point for the rest of the evening, we can plan on that. If you are south and east of I-71, you do have the best chance this evening to run into an isolated shower or a downpour that could start to pop up. Heading out to the Reds game tonight, looks okay. 83 for first pitch. I mean, seasonal outside. As we head into the second half of the game, temperatures are going to be eventually dropping down into the 70s, and once it starts to wrap up, down to about 77. Now, for the rest of the week, we do have impact days on the horizon for us. Those kick off on Thursday, lasting all the way through the end of the weekend, including Sunday in that now. Until then, tomorrow we still could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm popping up across the area for your Wednesday, but I think for the most part, Wednesday is going to end up being a lot like today, where many of us end up staying dry. Now, once we start to get into this rainy pattern here, Thursday through Sunday, I do think at this point, Friday looks like it brings us the best potential for some heavy rainfall, possibly even some gusty winds on Friday, and then of course that lightning threat as well. So if you have any plans to be outside on Friday, we've got a Reds game again Friday, we'll have to watch that very closely and see how those showers and thunderstorms start to develop. As far as tonight's concerned, dry outside. We'll see a little bit of fog developing by tomorrow morning, upper 60s to low 70s for our start for the day, and then back into the mid 80s for high temperatures tomorrow. An isolated downpour is certainly a possibility. Futurecast is not too excited to bring in that potential here on your future radar view, but I do think there's at least a chance to see a downpour popping up here tomorrow afternoon, and then once we get into Thursday, slightly better chance, especially second half of the day Thursday, to see those showers and thunderstorms returning to your neighborhood. So for Thursday itself, if you have plans to be outside, I think that's going to be the better day of the four for the rain chances in terms of your possibility of staying dry, but certainly think there's at least a chance for some scattered rain. Most impactful day at this point still looks to be on Friday, with that chance of rain and thunderstorms looking pretty likely, possibly both in the morning and then as we get into Friday afternoon too. For tomorrow, about 86 for our high temperature. Notice those temperatures stay very nice outside. No rain to tell you about for this evening, and for the rest of tonight I expect we stay that way, especially at this point, 7 o'clock. We're just 2 hours away from sunset. Rain's not too far to our south though. Lexington's still dealing with some of those showers, but you can actually see over the last few hours, hour or so, it has started to kind of wrap up down there. Now, as we head into the next couple of days, rain is back in our forecast. Tomorrow, just a chance of an isolated shower popping up, not something that everybody ends up seeing. In fact, most actually end up staying dry tomorrow. As we get into Thursday and Friday, that's when rain chances start to increase a little bit more, especially by the time Friday rolls around. But for the rest of this evening, nice out there. Temperatures are going to start to fall down into the 70s here shortly. We'll be down to about 75 degrees by 10 o'clock tonight. So coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to show you when you can expect to see that rain chance increasing Thursday and Friday, the difference between the 2 days, and then also temperatures as we head into the upcoming weekend. Chris, Ashley? Around 82 in Wilmington, Lincoln Airport 84, as well as Batavia. Slight difference when you factor in the humidity, feels more like the upper 80s outside, but still not too bad out there. Looks like we've got a little bit of light rain also popping up closer to Kenton and Boone counties, right around I-75, just south of Florence. Again, some sprinkles at this point with that one, but for the most part, things have been pretty quiet for us here so far today. Our window is narrowing in which we could see those isolated pop-ups this afternoon or this evening at this point. Once that sun starts to set, we'll lose that ability to see rain going up tonight, but fog is definitely going to develop as we head into the overnight hours. It's a possibility at least to see some patchy fog by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Next couple of days still bringing us that chance for some rain. So through tomorrow, a few isolated pop-ups will be a possibility, and then by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, those rain chances start to increase a little bit more. I do think at this point Friday is the most likely day that we wind up seeing some rain throughout the next several. Thursday and Friday, both weather impact days. We also still could see some weekend rain in there. Still kind of looking to see how things iron out as we get closer to the upcoming weekend. But by Thursday and Friday, downpours will be a possibility, especially Friday. Looks like some heavy rain is the chance for us here by the time we get to Friday. And then on top of that too, possibly even some stronger winds gusting through, and lightning is of course always going to be a potential anytime this year, or anytime this time of year. All right, so for the rest of tonight, a little bit of patchy fog developing. Again, an isolated downpour, quick downpour, that's a possibility for about the next hour to 2 hours or so. Then tomorrow throughout the day, temperatures are starting off in the upper 60s in the morning. Then we make it into the 80s in the afternoon. Most of us topping out right around about 85 to 86 degrees. That's very typical for this time of year. Then rain chances for tomorrow. A few spotty downpours will be a possibility. With that, you could see a quick heavy downpour, but then once it wraps up, then you actually end up with some steamy sunshine left over. Thursday, by the time we get into the afternoon, better chance of running into that rain, and then Friday, especially morning and afternoon and evening, all featuring the chance of some rainfall. Temperatures tonight falling down to about 69 degrees, and then tomorrow we're topping out right around 86. If you're heading out to the Reds game tomorrow, there's that chance for some rain, but odds are things are looking okay if you're heading out to the ballpark. But Thursday and Friday, getting into those games by the time we get to Friday with the Cubs in town, there is going to be the potential for some rainfall. Again, looking more likely as we get into Friday that we've got that rain chance. Most impactful day. Then this upcoming weekend, that stray chance